Let's breeze through some more algebra questions. In fact, this book calls this entire section basic algebra. So we got to know these well, and we got to be able to do these quickly. Okay, without further ado, let's begin. Question one, y equals 4, x is equal to 3, then they asked us to evaluate this expression. Okay, so now on this digital SAT, you could just easily plug all this into your calculator. That's no problem. But let's just get to practice do it by hand as well. Okay, so y is 4, so 4 cubed minus 3 times 3 squared plus 3 times 4 minus 2 times 3 times 4 plus 3. Okay, so we got to do the order of operations. So let's exponentiate these guys first, and then we can also multiply those together. Okay, so then now let's add or subtract from left to right. You should get 28, so choice E. So with a calculator, since I think you're still allowed to bring your own calculator, if not, then you just have to use the Desmos things or whatever. But if you're still allowed to bring your own calculator, you can store y as 4, x is 3, or you can pick any variable, it doesn't matter. You can pick A or B even, and then type this in, ask your calculator to evaluate it, even easier. Question 2, a plus b is 5, then a squared plus 2ab plus b squared equals what? Hopefully you recognize that this is the perfect square of a plus b quantity squared. Okay, so since a plus b is 5, 5 squared is 25. We have to know how to factor. Okay, we have this function f of x is x squared minus 5x plus 6. F of a is equal to 2. What is a equal to? So this, you need to know a bit about functions as well. So since f of a is equal to 2, f of a is, you plug in x as a. So a squared minus 5a plus 6 is equal to, f of a is 2. Okay, so let's solve for a. Minus 2 on both sides, factor, so you get a is 4 or a is 1. Okay, so the answer is D. I don't like how they put and here because it's actually 4 or 1. It can be either or, can't be and. Okay. What about this one? X squared minus 3x equals 0. What is x equal to? Again, these should be ors again. Okay, and I even wrote that here. Okay, so we can factor. There's a common factor of x in both, so let's factor it out. X times x minus 3 equals 0. Okay, so let's use zero product property. So x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 3. Choice A. What about this one? So I would just start expanding this out. So you just got to be careful and keep track of your terms. Okay, so if you expand this first pair out, you should get this over here. Expand this second pair out, you should get this over here. Don't forget the minus sign and parentheses. Parentheses are important here, okay? And then let's distribute this minus sign to all of them and combine like terms. You should get 2x squared minus 28x plus 41. Okay? I'm going quickly because I'm assuming you can do all these. I don't need to handhold you through all this algebra. Okay, question 6. You have this equation here. What is the sum of the possible value of A? Or possible values of A, should be saying. Okay. So I would just probably expand this out over here and combine like terms afterward. So let's simplify. So then you should get 2a squared minus 7a minus 50 equals 0. Let's factor from here. That's 2a plus 3, a minus 5. So by zero product property, a is negative 3 over 2, or a is 5. So let's sum up these two solutions. 3 over 2 is 1.5, so negative 1.5 plus 5, that's 3.5. Choice B. Which of the following statements is true? Question 7. Okay, so it should be 3 only. This is the difference of two squares, so it should be 2x plus 3y, 2x minus 3y. Should factor like that. This is a perfect square, so it should be x squared minus 8x plus 16. We hopefully know these perfect square expansions well. Okay, and this one is factored correctly as the perfect square x plus y quantity squared. Question 8. What does it simplify to? There's a difference of two squares for both of them. So the top is y plus x, y minus x. Bottom is x plus y, x minus y. Okay, so we can rewrite them a little bit. So we can rearrange the order for this y plus x to x plus y. We can factor out -1 from y minus x and rearrange the order to be x minus y. These cancel, you're left with -1, choice B. 9, you have this guy. X squared minus 25 is 12. They give x plus 5 equals 4. What is x minus 5? This is again difference of two squares. X squared minus 25 is x plus 5, x minus 5. So x plus 5 they gave us as 4. So solve for x minus 5. X minus 5 is 3, choice B. All right, what about this one over here? Solve for x. I would just distribute the 3 and the 5 and then start combining like terms and all that. So you should get x is minus 65. What about this one? 4x is 52. What's x squared minus 5 squared? Well, we could just solve for x here. So x would be 13. And then plug x into here. 13 squared minus 5 squared. That's 169 minus 25. That's 144. Next, 6b squared minus 24b plus 24. How can we factor this? Well, there's a common factor of 6 in all of these, so I would take care of that first to make the number smaller, okay? And then here, this is really easy to tell. This is a perfect square. It'll be b minus 2 squared. So that is choice D. Okay, question 13. You're given this equation, and you're asked to find AC minus BD. Okay, so I would just expand this out carefully and combine like terms afterward to get all your coefficients. Okay, so you should get 2x cubed plus 7x squared plus x minus 10. So A is 2, B is 7, C is 1, D is a -10. So AC minus BT, you should get as 72. All right, question 14. You have this guy is 24. What is the sum of the possible values of x? Okay, if the publisher was trying to make this a trick question, they didn't make it a good trick question because I would assume that some people would start saying, oh, the solutions are x is 2, -3, and 4. But we can only do that when this is equal to 0. You're trying to use the zero product property. It's not equal to 0 right now, so that doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, if you do that, you still get the sum is 1, so you still get the right answer. So if the publisher was trying to make it a trick question, it failed at doing that. But I want to emphasize that we can only do that when it's equal to 0. Okay, so unfortunately, we got to expand this whole left-hand side out. And then once you do, you get this line right here. So you can subtract 24 on both sides. So you get this over here after you combine like terms as well. And then there's a common factor of x and everything. So I factored that out. And this is a quadratic that's factorable as x minus 5, x plus 2. So our solutions are 0, 5, and -2. And if we sum this up, we get 3. Okay. Oh, I guess. Yeah. So it'll be 2 minus 3 and 4. I'll sum it to 3, not 1. My bad. So unfortunately, you do still get the same answer as I was saying, but you got to be careful. Okay. If m pound n or hashtag n, whatever you want to call it, equals m squared minus n squared, what is m pound n over m minus n? Okay, so we probably need difference of two squares. So let's factor this as m plus n, m minus n. Okay, so then you just divide both sides by m minus n. So you get the answer is m plus n, choice D. Okay, what about this one? You want 27x cubed, we're given x is ab squared over 3. So we can multiply both sides by 3. So you get 3x is ab squared, and then just cube both sides. So that you get 27x cubed is properties of exponents, a cubed, b6. Choice C. Here's the absolute value equation. What is the product of all possible values of x? So how do we solve absolute value equations? You have just take directly the absolute value equals 18. So 3x minus 15 equals 18. And the second solution is 3x minus 15 is -18. So one positive, one negative. okay? Because you don't know when you absolute value. When you absolute value, you always get positive. So it could have been negative 18 on the inside of the absolute value. So that's why we have the second possible solution, okay? Solve for x in both cases. You get x is 11 in this case, x is negative 1 in this case. Take the product, minus 11, choice A. 18, 4x squared is 9 times y squared plus 2. What is 18 over 2x minus 3y? So this is probably one of the harder ones in this section, but it's actually quite simple if you're able to possibly guess what you need to do. So go ahead and try this. Okay. So we're given things like x squared and y squared, but then in the end we want x minus y type of thing. And 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Maybe difference of two squares is already what I'm guessing. Somehow we got to use it. Okay, so that's just me eyeballing this problem. So let's distribute this 9 to both terms. And then subtract 9y squared on both sides. So look, this is the difference of two squares. So you can factorize 2x plus 3y, 2x minus 3y. And then this is exactly what we want. 18 over 2x minus 3y. That's equal to 2x plus 3y. Choice C. This is hard, and that probably needs to figure out. You have to use difference of two squares. But otherwise, very simple algebraically. Number 19. This one's actually maybe more challenging as well. Absolute value x minus y equals d, and x is greater than y. Which of the following cannot be the value of y minus x? Okay, so let's go choice by choice. Can y minus x be d? Okay, well, it tells us that x is greater than y. So y minus x, since x is bigger, your answer is going to be negative. Okay? But d is positive, since it's the absolute value of something. So one cannot be true. We're expecting a negative answer, but d is positive. So one is not true. Two can be true, though, because as we just said, d is positive since it's the absolute value of something. And we're expecting a negative answer for y minus x since x is bigger than y. So just tack on negative sign and we're good. So choice 2 is possible. What about absolute value of y minus x? Again, this we expect to be positive, but this we know is negative. So 3 cannot be true. So cannot be the value. You got to answer the question. That's 1 and 3, choice D. Okay, that's another trick. Don't pick. This is not asking which one could be true. So don't pick choice B. Okay. Number 20, we have A is equal to this absolute value expression. X is minus 2, Y is 5, and A is equal to what? So if you have the calculator, I would just store these as variables and then carefully type this in. Otherwise, doing it by hand is not too bad either. You would get 48. I'm going to go through all the steps. You just plug in literally. Okay. We have an inequality now. So it's asking what are all possible values of t? Okay. So don't forget when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you got to flip the inequality sign. So if we do this, if we solve for t by adding 7 on both sides first, we got minus 5t less than or equal to 15. And then we're dividing by negative 5 on both sides. Since we're dividing by a negative number, we got to flip the inequality sign. So t is greater than or equal to negative 3. 22, 3x minus 4 in absolute values is greater than 20, which of the following choices is not a possible value of x? Okay. So how do we solve absolute value inequalities? You take one just as it is without the absolute value sign, so 3x minus 4 greater than 20. And in the second case, we flip the inequality sign and we add a negative. So it'll be 3x minus 4 is less than negative 20. Okay, we solve for x on both sides, both cases, I should say. X is greater than 8, or x is less than minus 16 over 3. What's negative 16 over 3 as a mixed number? That's 5 and 1/3, so minus 5.3333333 repeating, yeah? So which one is not in these intervals? A is just missing the cutoff because it needs to be x less than minus 5.33333. This is bigger. So choice A. Okay, so this one, I'll explain what's happening. You have this thing is ax squared plus bx plus c. You have this thing is 2x plus 7, 3x minus 5. And they're asking you what q plus r plus s is. This is the weird notation that they published. So they're asking what q plus r plus s is. Okay, so this triangle thingy would represent qx squared plus rx plus c plus s. Sorry, wrong letter. So we can expand this factored form as 6x squared plus 11x minus 35. So then we get q is 6, r is 11, s is negative 35. So then we're interested in q plus r plus s. Add them all together, you get minus 18. All right, last question. X minus 5y is 2. 3x plus y equals 6. What is xy squared? Okay, so we probably need to solve the system of equations. So you can either do elimination or you can do substitution. I did substitution. So x minus 5y is 2. We can rewrite as x is 2 plus 5y. Plug this x into the other equation right here. Solve for y equals 0. We don't need to bother finding what x is actually because we're just interested in xy quantity squared. So x times 0 in parentheses squared, that's for sure 0. X is not infinite, so we're okay. We don't need to bother finding it. And that's it. Hopefully this was easy. If not, I would really suggest you figure out what was the struggle. Are you not comfortable with factoring? Are you not comfortable with absolute value stuff? Are you not good at identifying difference of two squares? These are the common themes for this question set at least. So identify the ones you struggle with, see what the common themes are if there are, and really study them thoroughly more and practice more, of course, on new problems after you fully understand these problems as well. All right. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully see you in another video as well. Bye.